Thank God that we made it into this year. Now, let me go straight into the point. I wasn't actually going to do this particular live, but I was talking with a guy yesterday that I have been working with for a few weeks now. And I knew that this guy was special. And then yesterday he said something that made me realize that I really had to do this live because it's a living example that I can share with you. So somebody has asked before, you say to be vulnerable, but that means exposing oneself to ridicule, exposing oneself to the possibility that the person, your interest, might not like the real you. But you see, that's exactly where the problem is. That is why we have the problems that we have. Life is really easy, but we complicate things. That's the irony of life. A lot of the things that we do are counterintuitive. And in many cases, we should be doing the opposite. When you find yourself in a situation where you are thinking of how to scheme to get what you want, to get things to work the way you want, we usually arrive at taking actions and decisions that will yield the opposite of what we really want. I hope that we can begin to look beneath the layers. Many times, that first thing that you think that is what you should do is usually the opposite of what you should do. If you come across this live, say hello so I can see you in the chats. And if you have any questions, ask. I'm already answering one question about being vulnerable. Where did I stop? Yeah, so usually what we should do is the opposite of what we're doing. And that's what's going to give us let me be sure that this thing is even public. 1 second. That's usually what's going to give us the result that we want, right? Another reason why guys don't aren't as vulnerable is they say when you're vulnerable, you give there have been times when I've been vulnerable and shown my true thoughts and who I am, and what she's done is she's ridiculed me, and or she's made fun of me, or she's used that later on to hit me below the belt. But what that means is that we have to be careful who we're being vulnerable with. If this is someone that you know that you really want a relationship with, then you have to vet the person. You cannot just rush to decide that because this is somebody that you want to be in a relationship with and you want to be close to, therefore I am going to now open up myself to this person. We have to take the time. That's why time is important. We have to take the time to study a person, to know that they've earned and that they're actually able to carry this thing that we want to give them, this precious thing that we want to give them. Our vulnerability is precious. And as that person has said, or as people have said, those things can be used against us. So who is the person that you're being? Let me even, before I talk too much, let me tell you what happened with this guy. So this guy, when you see him, you expect that where he's coming from, everything has been good and everything has been gold. And I was shocked when he told me that it was his first time doing something. I'm not going to share what it is right now because I may have him on the platform later sometime. It was his first time doing something in his life. And I was like, how? How? I don't understand. How was that your first time? He said, in fact, I never thought that I would be able to do that in my life. And I was like, how? He said, because of my background and where I'm coming from. And I was like, but everything about you I'm surprised to hear that about you. Everything about you tells me the opposite of what you're saying now. And he said, yes, I know, but that's why I like to share who I am. I like people to know who I am so that they can understand that all that does not define you. So do you see that the things that we hide about ourselves, we're hiding from the next person? In a scenario like with this guy, somebody else would think, I'm going to hide this part of me. I'm going to hide this part of my life from this woman because I don't want her to to think of me as lowly. I want her to always see me as this put together, polished person that is before her. That way I will have her respect and all that. But you see, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know the person that you're dealing with. You don't know what their values are. The things that you think might impress that person may not be what will impress them. So remember that you're not dealing with yourself. You are not yourself. And we're constantly projecting our thoughts onto other people. We're constantly thinking that we can determine what they value and what is important to them, but we can't. And this is why we must remember that we have to be authentic. Being authentic is what's going to give us the best chance with the best suitable person, because the person that you are thinking this person is only a fabrication in your mind. You are thinking this is what how I'll present myself because this is what I know will impress them. But we never know what will impress anybody. And this is why we shouldn't be going out trying to impress. When we hear that we must put our best foot forward, we will be addressed the way we dress. It is not that we should now cultivate a personality that we're going to present. What it means is that in the person that we are, in the version of ourselves that we are, we should be we should be the best that we are and can be in that version. And that's the person that we have to present to that person who is our love interest. The reason we have to be authentic like that is because eventually they're going to have to deal with the real us. They're going to have to deal with the real us. And if we don't give them the real us, are they going to be able to manage this real person when it shows up? And we always like to say that you're not going to be able to pretend. People aren't going to be able to pretend to be someone else 247, 365 days a year. People can. I know people who are doing it. They're going to pretend all the time. And they believe that even when she finds out other things about them, because the truth is, you can pretend all the time, but it doesn't mean that you're going to fool that person all the time. Because snippets of your life will still show, even if not from you directly. Snippets of your life, of the real you, will show from your old friends, your childhood friends, your family, things that are happening with you. And the best that you're going to be able to do is tell this person stories to try to cover up your tracks. You're going to tell this person stories to try to continue to hold on to that image that you gave to them in the beginning. But guess what? The fact that you say something is doesn't make it what it is. Because after you have told me different things trying to cover up your tracks, I'm going to eventually come to the realization that all you've been doing all this time is telling me stories to make me believe the first thing, which I am seeing so many contradicting things showing up now, telling me that that first time that you told me this thing, you presented yourself as this, that is not really who you are. Now, what you succeeded in doing is giving this person somebody that they may not be able to deal with. Because by the time I find out who you really are, it may be someone that I know that I don't even have the resources, the ability, the capability, the capacity to deal with the real you. Now what happens? I become disenchanted, and I become disappointed because what I ordered is not what I got. Now, how do you expect this person to be? What happens is that this person now distrusts you as well. And going forward, everything that you do, if I were her, and this is what happens, she'll be questioning. I'd be questioning, how do I know now that he's presenting me the truth? So being vulnerable simply means being who we are unapologetically. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that if we're if we're if we need brushing up in different areas of our life, whether it's hygiene, whether it's taking care of ourselves, whether it's our behavior, being rude, being polite, knowing how to behave well. If we need brushing up, we need to brush up ourselves and be our best versions. But we cannot go and present ourselves as who we're not, because we're going to end up with a person with whom we have to constantly, there are only two things going to happen. we're going to give up because it's exhausting pretending to be who you're not, or we're going to constantly have to keep on covering our tracks, and we can't even do it successfully. We can only tell ourselves that we're doing it. We refuse to admit the truth because there are people who, even when you catch them with their hands in the pot stealing the meat, they will not admit that they're stealing the meat. They will tell you that they're just trying to wipe off the dust or something. They tell you whatever. But you see, the fact that you're telling a lie to yourself and to the next person does not mean that person is buying it. So we just complicate our lives by not by life is really easy. Life is really easy. Let me just backtrack a bit. Being vulnerable shows that you are confident in who you are. Like that guy shared with me, the thing that other people will be hiding and keeping away from other people, he was confident to show that because that's really who he is. And you see, that also means that you're accepting yourself for who you are. And if you cannot accept yourself, this is actually where, let me just narrow this whole video down. If you cannot accept yourself, how can you expect someone else to accept you? Someone else cannot accept you. That's why you hear it being said that if you cannot love yourself, another person cannot love you. Someone else cannot accept you because you haven't even shown up. The person that they are seeing is not you. So you're not even there. So that means that you've created a relationship with someone who never met the real person that they're in a relationship with. And so it means that they're going to meet this person somewhere in the future. And when they meet that person, that's when the real relationship begins. So everything that we're doing before that point is like a waste of time. And if we continue it, we're going to get to a point where the whole thing is going to crumble like a pack of cards because we're going to either get tired of our pretense or they're going to get tired of dealing with us. And in any case, everything that they're dealing with, they know they cannot trust now, which means that you have now inadvertently, by your own hands, created distrust in this relationship. And so a person that I cannot trust, I cannot have confidence in the person. And how can I have confidence in the person when I cannot trust him? And if I cannot trust him and if I cannot have confidence in him, that means I cannot have true love for him. And this is the reason why you hear sometimes a relationship that has lasted for so many years, all of a sudden, everything goes kaput. And people ask questions, how could I wouldn't have believed it? These people were the ideal couple, this is that. But you don't know what people are going, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Because somebody may have realized, they may even have realized it in the second year of the relationship that this was not what I thought it was. But sometimes people just hold on for one reason or the other, either because people are encouraging them to just hold on, just have patience. But eventually that they're not going to, they're going to be like, my life is leaving me and I am going to finish the whole of my life with this thing that I am not satisfied with. That's why you hear sometimes that. The other day I saw someone feeling sad that a marriage of 50 years had ended. And I say, you cannot be sad about these things because they know, it looks to you like everything has been fine, but they know what they've been grappling with in this relationship. And that's another reason why I say that many times, marriages have already even broken up before they even ever started. That is because the foundations were not right in the first place. And those foundations will always come back to bite you in the butt. It's like planting in the midst of thorns. Those thorns will continue to choke whatever you've planted, so it won't be healthy. So that even if on the outside people are seeing it's lasting, it's not healthy. And how long do you think that the participants in this thing are going to be able to hold on to it? People resort to all sorts of other ways to cope. So what they're doing is that they're coping outside of the relationship. What it means is that they're not happy with that relationship that they have. And it's okay if you want to settle for that and take that as what your life will be. But how about the person that you're dealing with? They may not be okay to do that for the long haul. So that's why it's important to be able to arouse confidence in the person that we're dealing with. And you cannot do that if they cannot trust you. You cannot even do that if you don't first have the confidence in yourself. and then love and accept yourself as you are, and then present that person that you love and accept, which is you, to them. See, life is really simple. Let's stop complicating our lives. You've heard it said that in the Bible it says that it is who is it who is it said will inherit the kingdom of heaven? What do you think the kingdom of heaven is? So, if you've heard me talk, many times I say a lot of things are presented in a way that makes it difficult for us to even grapple what we're dealing with and to be able to live the best life that we can. When you think about the kingdom of heaven, what do you think about? Do you think about a physical place where the streets are made of gold, everything is white, there are angels singing, and that's what you're thinking? Because I think that that's what a lot of Christians see as the kingdom of heaven. But do you know that the kingdom of heaven can mean so many? You can interpret it in so many different areas of your life. Take it. You can have that physical one, but you can also have it in your life that you're living. What did Jesus say? He said that I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. Right? What is this? 1 second. Have it more abundantly. That means that in the life that you're living on this earth, you can live it abundantly. Why is this thing saying waiting? No, 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 no. Just a moment. What is happening? I'm already live. Why is it saying waiting? I don't understand. Let me go see. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, so, and if you see me, say hello. Say hello in the chat. Yeah, so we should have life more abundantly. I am not in that school of thought that it's only when we after we have lived on this earth that we can be expecting and experiencing that abundant eternal life. There is no reason why Jesus would come and say that I have come that you may have life. And is it even have life or live life? Have life and have it more abundantly. I believe in that. I'm a strong believer in that. If I cannot live that life here abundantly, why was I given 80 to 120 years to be on earth? Am I supposed to just be here and be miserable? That's one thing that we need to begin to think about, instead of just accepting things the way that we were taught, and everybody's focus is on salvation. I find it quite. I'm like, what are you even thinking when you come to a person and they're telling you about their issues in this life, and all you're talking about is, are you saved? Your salvation. This is a conversation that I'm going to have on the platform outside of mistakes men make. What you're telling me when you keep on talking about salvation is that the life that a person is living for those 100 to 120 years that they're having on earth, 80 to 100 to 120 years, means that life means nothing. It's not possible that it means nothing. It's just not possible. And it's not possible that a person should live 80 to 100 and 120 years living a life of misery, and all that matters is what happens in the afterlife. But if you want to believe that, that is okay. But it just doesn't make sense, because that's why people are living the life that they're living and taking decisions that they're taking and living in misery, right? And listening to people who tell them that they should just do it this way, just do it that way. Whereas all you have to do is take that Bible and follow the injunctions and instructions of how to live your life. One of the things that it says is that suffer not. Jesus said, suffer not the little children, right? It is children that will inherit the kingdom of heaven. If you don't want to see it that way, and you are choosing to see things in a way where things are complicated, and instead of living an uncomplicated life, and all you need to just do is follow the injunctions in the Bible. You don't even have to be a Christian to live your life that way and to have satisfaction and to have a fulfilling life. You take yourself away from all the struggles and complications of life when you just follow the simple injunctions. And what are the two things there? There are only two things there: that you should love the Lord your God and serve him, and that you should treat the other person as yourself. And for everything that you do, let's even go back to you presenting yourself as something different to this person. How would you like it if that was done to you? So in everything that we're doing, if we can remember to treat that next person the way we would like to be treated, that is, love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. And at the same time, what it also means is that you expect your neighbor to love you as themselves. So if we can just only keep that in mind, that is all. Life is easy, right? And if you're there, say hello, because I can see someone came in here. Just say hello to me in the chat if you're not shy, or if you're not going to say hello, that's okay too. So life is easy when you just make your mind like that of a child and just simply follow the two injunctions. Thank you. Hi. Nice to see you. Yeah. So just follow the two injunctions there in the Bible. Love God, worship God, and love your neighbor as yourself. And that is all you ever need to do with anything at all times. And you will inherit the kingdom of heaven. And I want you to stop thinking of the kingdom of heaven only as that physical place. Think about it in your present life as well. And that is what Jesus did. But this is not a sermon, so I'm not going to keep on talking about that. Let me see if there's any other point that I need to raise here before I finish. But I think I've said everything. I think I said everything. So that's what it is. So let's embrace being authentic. When we're authentic, then and that's even what you see with children. How many times the children sit down and think, let me scheme, let me complicate things, let me make it a little complex, because it just can't be this easy. Because that's what I went with. That's what I went through with that guy yesterday. Just simple. You don't sit down and start scheming, and this way you never have things to cover up. And the person that you're dealing with is always going to eventually know this person isn't giving me their real self. So they are not going to have that confidence. And even if you fool them, because not everybody is perceptive enough, so you might succeed in, yes, the Bible's greatest commandment, but we complicate our lives. And I know I don't blame a lot of us because of the way that we were brought up, the things that we were taught. But when you're observing life, after a while, you should be able to start using your number 6 and see that, hey, wait a minute. Do I really want to continue struggling in life like this? So if we just adopt only those two changes, if you come across this video, adopt those two changes and begin to see how your life will become easier. And I am not here speaking as a Christian, I'm speaking as a human being about what I have seen life to be. I'm not going to start showing you my birth certificate now, but I can tell you that I have earned it. I have earned the position to tell you that I know what I am saying, but then you don't have to accept it. But if you're going to take a trial on what I've said, do it. And please, you can even send me a private message. Let me know if this doesn't change your life. And it gives you peace. It gives you peace. There are so many things I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to make this video too long, right? So enjoy this weekend. Go forward. Be vulnerable, be real, be authentic. It'll give you confidence. Another thing that it does is that it means that now you don't have to worry. You don't have to be giving yourself a headache about whether or not you will be accepted. You don't have to be giving, see? And what it does is that it makes the right person, it'll make the right person accept you. And with that, you are on a smooth road because this person knows, okay, I know what I have and I like it. It actually makes it possible for you to get the real and right person for you, not someone who is taking that second alternative pretend person that you're presenting. So they get the real you. They know I have seen this is what I know. Everybody that takes you thinks that this is what they like, right? So it's even better if what they like is the real you, because that way, no matter what happens, they're there. Nothing is changing. Everything they're seeing is always consistent. So this is how you get yourself the right person for you, instead of taking that person that you went to impress with those things, and then you have to constantly give yourself this work to do, constantly, constantly, constantly. It's exhausting. That's not what we're placed on this earth to come and do. We're placed here to live life, right? So I will end this. Something crossed my mind. I don't remember. It skipped my mind already because of my age. It skipped my mind, so I can't remember what it is. So, but I wish you strength and boldness in going forward, in being authentic and being real and living the best life that you can. And don't be making this mistake. People make these mistakes because someone has taught them, or because they didn't think deeply enough. They just learn from watching other people, or their minds. Because I've told you that when we take decisions in our lives, a lot of things that we do are counterintuitive. We often do the opposite. But if you take time to really think about what you're doing, or in fact, just be like a child and just take those two commandments. You'll be fine. We'll be fine. Okay? Love you. Bye.